Hi, and welcome back. It was been a busy week this week. We had a dust storm that came through. You know, the big old dust storm that came through. It looked like a great big orange wall coming through. I was actually working at the time, and I have a window right next to me, so I saw it come through. That was scary. One of the reasons why we're busy is because of that storm and the, I don't know, almost 100-mile-an-hour winds that we had. As a lot of trees fell. And 3 years ago, I signed up for what's called a chip dump. A chip dump is where a tree company will go out, they'll cut down the tree, they'll chop it all up into nice little bits, and instead of taking them to the dump where they have to pay money to dump it, we get it for free. So not only do I have chips to be able to level out some of the stuff behind our shed because it's sloped, and it's been sloped forever. We just built a shed right there, and to be able to bring it up so where it's not sliding, if you want to call it that. But I also went to Joann's to do some last minute shopping before everything's gone. And whenever we went there, almost everything that was supply based is gone. All the scissors, all the blades, the cutting mats, all the actual tools and supplies are gone. Some of the storage bins were still there. I was able to get a sewing kit that would house everything. I already had one, but the lid was falling apart. I got some fabric and some yarn. Spent a pretty penny because, you know, it's a candy store. And came home. That was one whole day's worth of shopping. It took an hour to get there, hour to get back. And in the meantime, we got something to eat on the way. Found something called Creamistry. It's an ice cream parlor that uses nitrogen to create their ice cream. And it being an hour away is the closest one. Apparently it's a new thing. It's really interesting and really good. But according to my husband, the ice cream was too smooth. I enjoyed it, but he thinks it's too smooth. There should be ice crystals in there, and there weren't. So we'll see. Now, I've already gone ahead and filmed some of the Joann stuff that I had, and I'm going to be doing an homage to Joann's next month whenever I go to my vacation and release that. So it's going to take me a little bit of time. It's a couple of hours worth of footage, so bear with me. I need to edit it down to smaller. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and talk about eggs. There is an egg alternative out there. I just don't like it. But if you don't have the money for $12 dozen eggs, like they have in some places. Okay, there is something called egg beaters. Okay, I've used this before. I used this in the last time we had an egg crisis. It's egg whites with a whole bunch of stuff in it. Food starches, dyes, some oils. I don't like this, but if you're in a financial pinch and you need eggs, this will work. This whole box, which according to the serving guidelines, stores about 20 eggs or 20 substitute eggs, and it was $5. So it's an alternative. I just don't like the taste of it whenever I try to do scrambled eggs with it. I prefer the real thing, but I digress. It is there. We are going to go ahead and make an egg pie. Uh, I think in French they call it a quiche. So let's get started. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to get your pan. Normal people, you can put like bread slices down or croutons, whatever you wish. I am going to be using some flatbread that I made out of my almond flour, which is quite spongy. It'll absorb very well. And what we want to do is we want to cut a piece out to fit the bottom of the dish that we're using. You want a lot of grease in your pan. Put in your hamburger or sausage. You can also add bacon to this, which I am going to. But I want to brown this up along with some spices. We're going to be doing some taco spices in this. A little bit of paprika. A little bit of ground cumin. About equal parts. About a quarter to a half a teaspoon. And this is 1 pound of hamburger. About a tablespoon of onion powder. Don't forget your salt. About a teaspoon. And pepper. Notice I haven't put any garlic or garlic powder in here. That's going to come later in the veggies. And yes, you do want this much grease because whenever we add the eggs and cook it, the grease helps it bake a little bit better. Once it's all browned up, put it in a bowl. You're going to want that to cool off just a little bit. And in the pan, you're going to add peppers, onions, and all the veggies. Onions and peppers. Don't forget your metric crap ton of garlic. You want to cook this down until it's translucent, but you want to keep it in the pan for now. Now that that is all nice and settled, we are going to go ahead and add spinach, because it doesn't take any time for spinach to melt down and cook. You just want to mainly, get this all nice and thawed out and a lot of this water evaporated. So you don't want this to be too soupy. Now here's where all the herbs come in. We're going to do about a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of rosemary, and about a quarter cup of parsley. Only because I need to get rid of this parsley. And you want to stir this around. Make sure everything is nice and thawed, okay? Because we're still going to be sticking this in the oven, so the spinach will cook, whether it's in the pan or in the oven. And once all the water is evaporated, we're going to go ahead and dump it in the meat We are going to let that cool off a little bit, because if we dump the eggs in here right away, it's going to cook them. And that's not what we want right now. So if you want to do this as a make a head meal, this would be perfect for that. All you would have to do is put this in a bag, into portion size bags, and put it in the refrigerator or freezer. And then whenever you're ready, we can go ahead and thaw that out and then assemble, because that's what we're going to do next. One thing about making this dish is to make sure that your dish will fit all the ingredients. The small one that I pulled out, that I wanted to do it for, because it's only supposed to last a day, maybe 2 days for leftovers instead of the week. Yeah. Make sure you have the right size, and how hungry are you going to be for a while. You could also freeze this if you have enough leftovers, and just make it as a ready meal. Because, like I said, this is $5, but I am going to use a lot of this. Probably, most likely the entire carton. I'm going to eye it. We're going to put it in the meat mixture. Yeah, that's the entire carton. And that's okay. So like I said, I don't like this stuff on its own whenever I try to do just a regular scrambled eggs. But it works for making things, like adding it as like eggs and cake. Making this bread, I did use it to make this. So it's not bad as an ingredient, even though it's got all that stuff in it. But if you're on a pinch, that's about the best we can do. Go for it. It still has eggs in it. And that took up the entire thing. I'm going to add some bacon to it, because why not? Make sure you wash your tomatoes. These are the cherry tomatoes. And whenever you're cutting them individually, cutting them all at once in between lids is cheating. I know I'm going to get flack for that one. One thing about the bread that you do put on the bottom of this is that it's going to soak up a lot of this moisture and make it really nice and tender on the bottom. You can grate your cheese, or you can buy it pre-shredded. And that's it. Whenever you serve this, you do want to, whenever you serve this, you do want to salt it before you eat it, but it needs to be fully cooked, because, you know, ew, raw eggs. I'm not going to taste test this. But the bread that I made has a lot of salt on it, so I think I'm good. But depending on what you're using, you may want to Add a little bit more. There we go. We're going to keep the rest of the cheese till after it comes out. That this will be melty cheesy, and then we'll have the nice soft fresh melty cheesy on top. This goes into a 350 oven. I'm going to put it in for 45 minutes and check on it, but we will see how long it takes. Oh, 45 minutes later, nice and bubbly. Now, just like a cake, I want to make sure that it's done in the middle. Nice and done. It's not soupy. It could go in for another 15. It won't hurt it. But I'm calling this done. Nice and juicy. All that moisture was absorbed by the bread. And this thing is going to last for at least a week. Well, hopefully, but the weather that's been, bipolar for quite a while now. We are getting another cold front coming in. It is cold. It's getting colder out there. Yesterday it was 80 degrees. Today's about 50 again. So we'll see how many people get the sniffles. We'll see if we can get out there and work on the wood pile to be able to move it, because it was dumping in our front yard. We need to move it barrel by barrel to the backyard to be distributed to prevent the erosion, and work on the garden a little bit more. Hopefully we'll be able to get that done this week. We'll see. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.